Today we'll transition from our discussion on exploring and satisfying real market needs, and we'll look at a variety of macro factors that increase the new venture opportunities. So within that, we'll take a look at the relationship between change and types of change and what type of opportunities they may birth, and we'll recognize and discuss how to identify these changes and these gaps. So broadly, we're going to take a look at 4 types of change. This includes changes in technology, changes in social and demographic factors, industry structures, and political and regulatory factors. The first that we'll talk about is technology. And what we'll find is that technology is a large enabler of change. It might be the entrepreneur that is developing the new technology, or it might be the technology that others have developed that give new opportunities to entrepreneurs. For example, we can look at fundamental technologies such as portable cassette players and how they've led a transition into multiple types of music and multiple types of music in that listening experience. And with that, it's birthed a variety of opportunities, not only for the manufacturers of these items, but for the artists, for those that are leveraging these capabilities, for those that are retailing. So there are a variety of different things that have emerged based on this simple transition of how we record and experience music. And we see that significant changes can emerge and create entirely new markets, and that the larger the technological change, the more opportunities may emerge from that. For example, in the current smartphone market, you see a lot of entrepreneurs developing things in the app space that gives them the opportunity to enter and participate in the market. You also see hundreds of suppliers being successful and accessories for that market. So it's cases and it's headphones and it's other accessories that are riding the wave of the smartphone market. And we see tremendous opportunities and more products and more customers, and we see transitions as far as how technologies are enabling and creating new markets. And we can explore how technology, and particularly the development of new camera technologies, new recording technologies, new software technologies, as related to the design and production and distribution of film, has birthed a large industry in the independent filmmaking. And we can look at a firm called Kickstarter that's a platform by which you can do crowd-based fundraising and see what types of films are being developed and at what price point. We see here that there are film and video projects that currently number 530 that are presently raising funds through Kickstarter. And when you look at, well, how much money do you need to make a film? If you're doing a Hollywood blockbuster, it may be hundreds of millions of dollars. But what we can see here when we look at film and video is there are a number of entrepreneurs that are going through and building production length videos and films, feature films, at a $10,000 price point. For example, here out of New York, you see a $9,797 project that's been 100% funded, and they've raised that money in increments of $20 that you see here on the right, $50, $100. And so what they've done here is they've established different price points that give people the opportunity to contribute. And in this way, they've been able to raise their funding. And at $10,000, it gives them the funding that they need to go through and develop this. Now, that $10,000 may not include things like the labor of the team. It may not acquire or involve other things that they have been able to negotiate. But it does certainly dramatically lower the price point based on a couple of items. And again, central to that are camera and video technology and hardware technology being much more affordable, but also the software of doing the production and the capture and the back-end production elements are much more affordable as well. And we see in other cases there are $50,000 raised, so they're a third of the way to their total of $150,000, but there are multiple $10,000 projects that are still being developed, a $26,000 project here. But we see that there are, again, a number of things that can be accomplished in this space that traditionally has been very prohibitive for startup entrepreneurs to get involved in, but through, again, the hardware technology, the software technology, and even the Kickstarter model and the technology and the changes going on in place that allow people to do such crowd-based fundraising are all enablers of entrepreneurs and have created new markets and new opportunities. So the commercialization potential is certainly a key influencer for profitability. And what we mean by that is that new technologies may be very novel, they may be very differentiated, they may be very interesting, but we want to make sure that from an entrepreneurial perspective, if we have the goal of profit, that we do have something that has a sufficient market, and that we can gauge the effectiveness of that and recognize what level of capital we need to make that venture happen. The second item that we'll look at within change is related to social and demographic change. So these are changes that are going on in society that may be related to things that we may take as de facto, but in time there were elements developed like deodorant that, to my knowledge, there's not necessarily a health reason for it. There's not an aesthetic in that it doesn't look different, but there's an odor, and we believe that we would rather not have the odor, and so you've had markets that have developed